So, good afternoon. Our topic for today is Rizal's second sojourn in Paris in the Universal Exposition of 1889. Universal Exposition in 1889 World's Fair held in Paris, France. 100th anniversary of the storming of the Bastille, an event traditionally considered as the symbol for the beginning of the French Revolution. So, dito pumunta si Rizal sa Paris. Difficulty of finding quarters. For a short time, Rizal lived in the house of his friend Valentin Ventura at the number of 45 Rue Mabuegue. He transferred his residence several times. Finally, he lived together with two other friends, Filipinos Kapitan Justo Trinidad and Jose Albert. So ito si Kapitan Justo Trinidad at ito po si Jose Albert. Life in Paris, he used most of his time in the reading room of the Bibliothèque Nationale, living quarters, writing letters to his family and friends. The gymnasium for his daily physical exercises, visiting his friends. So dito siya nagbabasa ng libro niya. Three Filipino societies Rizal founded. Kidlat Club. Among the members were Antonio and Juan Luna Gregorio Aguilera, Fernando Canon, Lauro Di Mayuga, and Julio Lorente, and Guillermo Puatu, and Baldomero Rojas to bring together the young Filipinos in the French capital. And the three Filipino societies Rizal founded. Indios Bravos, its member pledged to excel in intellectual and physical prowess in order to win the admiration of the foreigners, particularly the Spaniards. They practiced with the great enthusiasm the use of the sword and pistol. Rizal taught them judo. And the Buffalo Bills.
So, hello to everyone. So, to continue the three Filipino societies Rizal founded, my name is Agustin Emmanuel P. And as we begin, RDLM Society Redemption de los Malayos, or Redemption of the Malays. So, he only mentioned this secret society to Jose Maria Baza, Marcelo H. Del Pilar, and it was patterned after Freemasonry. Only a few trusted friends of Rizal became members. So, Gregorio Aguilera, Jose Mabasa, Julio Lorente, Marcelo H. Del Pilar, Mariano Ponce, Baldomero Rojas, and Father Jose Maria Chanco, or the Filipino priest. So the aim of it was the propagation of all useful knowledge in scientific, artistic, literary, and etc. in the Philippines and redemption of the Malay race. Rizal's outstanding achievement in Paris, 1980, so annotated edition of Morgan Publishers. He wrote it in the British Museum, and it was printed by Garnier Ferres. Professor Blumentritt wrote the prologue, so Rizal's errors, appraising the events of the past in the light of the present standards. Attacks on the church were unfair and unjustified because of the abuses of the friars should not be construed to mean that Catholicism is bad. Rizal published Morga's Sucesos, best of the many stories of the Philippines written by the early Spanish writers. Dedicated new edition of Morga to the Filipino people to know their glorious past. To the Filipinos, page 159. So to prove that Filipinos were already civilized before the advent of Spain. So comment on Morga's publications date. Paris, Libraria de Garnier Hermanos 1890, title page of the Rizal's annotated edition of Morga. Documentary evidence to show that Rizal's edition of Morgas must come off the press in 1889, not 1890. So 3 letters. October 12, 1889, the Blumentritt received the edition. Tapos December 28, 1889, Rizal sent copies to Dr. Baldomero Rojas from Paris to Lipa. December 31, 1889, Mariano Ponce received the book Incontrovertible Proofs that Morgas Sucesos came off the press in 1889. Rizal as historian. Rizal's research studies in the British Museum in London and in the Bibliothèque Nationale, Paris, enriched his historical knowledge. His knowledge of foreign languages enabled Rizal to read historical documents such as Pigafetta famous First Voyage Around the World, Italian, works of Marsden, Raffles, Lord Stanley, and Wallis in English, writings of Blumentritt, Hagor, and Virchow in German, and historical commentaries with which qualify Rizal to be a real historian. Mayi, December 6, 1888, and Tawalisi of Bambatuta, January 7, 1889, both written in London. The Philippines within a century. In this article, he expressed his views on the Spanish colonization in the Philippines. He predicted with amazing accuracy the tragic end of Spain's sovereignty in Asia. Parts, the beginning, glorious past of the Filipinos people, middle, economic stagnation and happiness under the harsh Spanish rule, and the last, peered into the future of and warned Spain of what would happen to her colonial empire in Asia if she would not adopt a more liberal and enlightened policy toward the Philippines. The indolence of the Filipinos. Defense of alleged indolence of Filipinos, critical study of the causes why the Filipinos did not work hard during the Spanish regime, and the main thesis, the Filipinos are not by nature indolent. So 10 causes of decline in economic life, natives revolts and other internal disorders, wars which the Filipinos fought for Spain, Dutch, Portuguese, English, etc., and raids on the coastal towns and villages by the Muslim pirates of Mindanao and Sulu. Forced labor, lack of stimulus to work harder, or people could not enjoy the fruits of their labor. Another is the government neglect and indifference in terms of agriculture, industry, and commerce. Bad example shown by Spaniards despising manual labor and teaching of Spanish missionaries and gambling system of education. International Association of Filipinologists, Universal Exposition of 1889, Paris, letter to the Blumentritt, January 14, 1889, and Prospectus. So the aim of the association is to study the Philippines from the scientific and historical point of view. So the officers, President, Dr. Ferdinand Blumentritt, an Austrian, and Vice President, Mr. Edmund Plachut, French, and counselors, Dr. Reinhold Ross and Dr. Antonio Marregidor, Filipino Spanish, and Secretary, of course, Dr. Cerizal, a Filipino. International Association of Filipinologists, August 1889, Paris, scheduled holding of the inaugural convention. So we have renowned scholars in Europe, Dr. Reinhold Ross, Sir Henry Yule, Fedor Hagor, Abe Mayer, H. Kern, and Zippela. Project for Filipino College in Hong Kong, planned by Rizal while still in Paris, to establish a modern college in Hong Kong. So the aim is to train and educate men of good family and financial means in accordance with the demands of modern times and circumstances. Mr. Mariano Punanan, a Pampanga, 40,000 pesos initial capital.
So, Project for Filipino College in Hong Kong, curriculum subjects, ethics, religion, natural law, civil law and department, hygiene and mathematics, physics and chemistry, natural history and geography. So, Project for Filipino College in Hong Kong, the curriculum subject is political economy, universal history and Philippine history, logic, rhetoric, and poetics. Poetics, Spanish, English, French, German, Chinese, and Tagalog.
So another project for Filipino College in Hong Kong, curriculum subjects, gymnastics, equitation, fencing, swimming, music, drawing, and dancing. Por telefono, La Vision del Fray Rodriguez. So Fray Jose Rodriguez for telefono, Barcelona 1889, and Father Salvador Font Banning of Noli, and Dimas Alang, telephone conversation between Father Font Madrid and the Father Provincial or San Agustin Convention Manila. Christmas in Paris, so Jose Albert, Capitan Justo Trinidad, and Christmas dinner, fried chicken, rice, and vegetables, and Rizal last Christmas dinner in Paris after New Year, brief visit to London.
In the Christmas in Paris is two theoretical reasons to check up his annotated edition of Morgas Sucesos with the original copy in the British Museum and to see the Gertrude Beckett for the last time, middle of January 1890 back in Paris. So,
Okay, that's end of our presentation po.